In 1932, Sydney Davies started making chocolates from his kitchen. They were such a hit, within a couple of years, Davies Chocolates was supplying hundreds of pubs and clubs across New South Wales with sweet treats. Even Admiralty House, home of the Governor-General, put in regular orders. Today, the business is still following Sydney's recipes under the new ownership of the Kowald family.
So Noel, what prompted you to buy Davies Chocolate as a business?
Binh, it's a chocolate factory. It was available, we bought it.
Noel was undoubtedly excited to acquire his very own chocolate factory. Who wouldn't be? But there were serious issues to consider, forcing him to seek advice from trademarking expert Binh Rey.
When you bought the business, you realised that the name wasn't trademarked. Tell us about that.
When we purchased the business, we knew that the brand wasn't trademarked. And that is a significant business risk, we thought, because if we don't protect the brand, then we have to rebrand all of our packaging, and there's a significant investment in that. And also, we lose the heritage of the name.
So Noel did the right thing and protected Davies Chocolates with a trademark.
People know our name and come in here into our little shop or go into David Jones or other retailers they know, and they're looking for our brand. So our product, to lose the brand, we lose those sales because then we're starting from scratch.
Your brand in particular needs to be trademarked because it's had a long history. And as you know, it doesn't cost that much to trademark. It's $1,500 plus GST to trademark it and own it for 10 years. So that's about $150 a year when you break it down to protect the name. Instead of having to go to court if someone taps you on the shoulder to say, hey, I've got the trademark and now you've got to stop using the name. How much would that cost you in terms of going to court? You'll need lawyers, you need a barrister, and the cost could be $20,000 to $100,000. So it's actually better for small businesses to recognise that they need to trademark from the start.
When the Kowald family took over Davies Chocolates, they decided to trademark the name. It was a great business decision, but usually experts would recommend not using a surname for a brand, and here's why.
Did you know that there are 18,475 Davies living in Australia? And as a rule of thumb, you can't really trademark a name unless you've got the history to turn it into a trademark, turn it into a brand. And the reason for that is because there's so many Davies in Australia, you can't have the exclusive. But the lucky thing with Davies Chocolate, the brand, even though it is a surname, you've actually got a long history. You'll probably be able to prove that people recognise the brand, and that will assist us to help you obtain your surname trademark.
Because Davies Chocolates makes a lot of its sales based on its name and reputation, Noel had to trademark the actual business.
We sell through, David Jones is a good customer of ours. A lot of people come into David Jones asking for our product or discover our product with David Jones. So the name is really important.
If you're setting up your own small business, it's important to do your research when it comes to a name and logo.
So it's actually better for small businesses to recognise that they need to trademark from the start, even before they even start and get a business name, is to research and spend the time to find a name that's trademarkable for the brand. There's a misconception out there that a domain name, a company name, a trading name, even the history of a company protects them for their brand, and it doesn't. Only a trademark does.
We have customers who come into our little factory shop who tell us regularly, it's surprising how many, they tell us that their father in the 50s and 60s and 70s came home from the club late on a Friday night with a token gift for mum. And the kids always loved it because they got to eat the Davies chocolates. So that name recognition is really important, and it's something we want to build on.
So no, a trademark, it actually takes 8 months to obtain. It takes 4 months for an examiner to look at the application, and then there's a period of 2 months where people can object to a trademark. And the reason for that is if someone has stolen a brand off somebody else, it allows the person that actually originally owned the brand to object to the application. And then once that you pass the 2-month advertising period with the trademark office, you'll be able to then register your trademark for protection.
So, Binh's top tips for business owners considering trademarking their brand are: be prepared for the cost of $1,500 plus GST, but it will cover you for 10 years. Steer away from trademarking family names unless there's a strong history behind it, like in the case of Davies chocolates. And recognise you need a trademark from the very start.